I, Niti Patil from Computer Science and Engineering Department, would like to extend you a very warm welcome on behalf of Medicaps University, Indore. Medicaps University is located in a city called Indore in central India in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Medicaps is one of the brand names in the arena of technical education in India. Medicaps University, having a legacy of 21 years in education, we are in continuous process of achieving a perfect blend of academics, brilliance, and industry exposure. Connecting with nationally and internationally reputed industries and renowned institutions through webinars, faculty development programs, workshops, internships, conferences, and faculty exchange programs are the few initiatives of Medicaps University to bring up our students to the global market expectations. We have signed many MOUs with nationally and internationally reputed organizations for connecting globally and narrow down the gap between the industry and academics. Today, Department of Computer Science and Engineering clubbed all of us for an expert session on career paths for freshers, introduction to the role of business analyst. The speaker of the day is Mr. Raja Ganeshan, Project Manager, Emphasis Limited, Los Angeles, USA. He has completed his engineering from University of Madras in 2003 and subsequently MS from BITS Pilani. Currently, he is working as Delivery Project Manager in Emphasis Limited with over 16 years of experience in the field of IT. He has started his career as a programmer in Perl and Oracle, then transformed into the role of business analyst, specializing in retirement market in US annuities. He is a level 1 certified Loma professional and also completed his Oracle certification as well. Apart from this, he is a certified Scrum Master and ITIL certified professional too. It's a pleasure and privilege to welcome you to the session. Mr. Raja Ganeshan, welcome you once again. During the webinar, audience are allowed to answer directly by unmute the mic only when the resource person throws any question, or you can also drop your questions in the chat box. As there will be a separate question answer session also at the end of session where you can ask questions. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation for smooth and effective conduction of the program. Moving ahead, I would like to invite Mr. Raja Ganeshan to begin the session with his expertise and wisdom. Mr. Raja Ganeshan.
Hey, thank you so much for the introduction. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me start with sharing my screen and then we will take it from there. Is my screen okay? All okay with the screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you so much to the entire Medicaps team for having me here. Special thanks to Dr. Sunil K. Somani, Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Pradyumna Yadav, Registrar, Dr. Suresh Jain, HOD of CSE Department, and Dr. Pramod Nair for contacting me and giving me this excellent opportunity to talk to you all. It always gives immense pleasure to get in touch with the students, understand what the current trend is, current thinking processes, helps me to keep me young as well. Not that I'm too old, but still helps me to be in touch with what's happening right now. Okay, so what we will do is I'll try not to bore you guys as much as possible. I'll try to make sure that you guys don't get diverted into your mobile phones looking for whatever you're looking at. I'll try to keep it short and we'll take from there. Let's see. At any point in time, anywhere you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat window. I will try to look at it, and it's absolutely not a problem to unmute yourself if you're allowed. I'm not sure if it allows you to unmute right now. Unmute and ask questions. Just don't unmute and then call your mom for a coffee or, tiffin. I guess it's breakfast time for you guys. It's dinner time for me here, but still. Okay, so without much ado, let's go ahead and start. Is that fine? Suresh sir, Pramod sir, or Nati?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. So what are we going to do today? Okay, this is the agenda that I have. Hold on, this pop-ups keep coming. Close that. Okay, very quickly, what I'm trying to do here is a twofold approach. Okay, one, I want to tell you about one specific area of interest. At least it's an area of interest for me because I have been one of them for almost a decade now. But don't want to stop it with that. I want to show you guys what is the different paths that as a fresher out of college you have in front of you, and you yourself decide. That's the most important part. You do not decide based on somebody else. Okay, think of the options that you have and see where your heart is and go for it. Okay, so we will look at a few different paths that's available. Then we will focus for a couple of slides on business analyst, what a business analyst is, why is he important in this whole area of project implementation. And we will also look a little bit on a technical path. I am proud to call myself as a technical person as well. And then the last set, the first three that you see is one part. The last set is, let's take a small journey. If you guys like bike, let's take a bike journey or a car journey. A journey into the world of working rather than being a college student. So how do you transform yourself from a college student to the professional world? So we'll see how we can get ready for it. What are the expectations that you would have about the journey? What are the expectations that the companies would have on you during the journey? How do you go about it? And then we'll see what what's the basic characteristics that you need. Seems to be a lot of information, but I will try to keep myself within the time. Let me keep my gone are those days where you get to wear a watch. I don't even have a watch anymore. So okay, it's 9:10 for me, 9:40 for you guys. Okay, I'll try to keep it faster. Okay, so that we have enough time for people to talk. Okay, let me bring up my chat window on the right side, just in case you guys need any questions for me. Have any questions for me? Pardon me, guys. Just getting this ready. Okay, no, this is going to be okay. So let's go ahead. Okay, what are the different paths that we can consider? Okay, on the high level, we can split ourselves into three different paths. Okay, one is technical, the other is functional, and the last one is non-technical. Okay. 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 Screen annotations. Let me just stop. Okay. So technical paths that anybody from a college that they can look at, this is not all, this does not include all. I'm trying to broadly classify them into something that most of you guys would be interested on. Cloud-based, data analytics, database management, and digital technologies. So let me just give a quick overview of all these. Cloud-based. A little word of caution here. I have seen so many freshers who come out and say, I want to work in cloud, I want to work in cloud, without an iota of an idea of what cloud is. Okay, you must remember that there is no such specific thing called working in cloud-based technologies, except for probably 2% or 3% of the work that happens in the IT world, where probably if you're working for Amazon or you are working for Google on PCF, okay, that's where you will probably get to work 24 hours a day on, not 24 hours a day, I'm just saying, all your work is probably based on cloud. But in a normal project world, okay, what we will be talking about is you have a project that you're trying to implement. How much can you make sure it is cloud native? So that's where the integration of cloud-based technologies will come in. It's not like you will be purely working on cloud-based technologies, But it's very, very important that you understand what the cloud-based technologies are, because at any point in time, the system that you're working on is either already on cloud or will be moving to cloud. That is the phase that we are currently in. Okay, so if you're not in cloud, don't get disheartened by it, because guess what? Whatever you're going to work on, it's very important that you write them in cloud native apps. Because tomorrow, the place where the industry right now is finding it difficult is to migrate all their current systems into cloud-based systems. Because the current code base that is currently there in the systems has got a lot of problems when you want to transform them into cloud native apps. So you guys, when you come in fresh, that is what a company would expect from you guys. A new kind of an idea where you say, you know what, why should I continue to write in, say, a JSP page if it's an old page? Why can't I write it in React? Why can't I probably write it in Angular? Because guess what? These things are going to be cloud native automatically. So it helps me there. So that again is part of cloud-based. So don't get, oh my God, I'm not working in AWS. So does it mean I'm going to work on a legacy application? No, not at all. Everything is going to go to cloud-based. But again, a word of caution, not everything needs to be in cloud as well. So to know that, you need to know what cloud-based apps are. So get a hang of what cloud-based applications are. Data analytics, every damn thing in this world is data analytics now. Okay, I find it very simple to explain data analytics in just two examples. One, the online orders that we make. Everybody, I'm sure, uses Amazon here, or let me say Flipkart, or a Myntra.com. Okay, you go to Myntra, you go to Flipkart, you see a pair of shoes, but you don't buy it. You come out of it. The next day, you go to google.com, google.co.in, and then you search for, let's say, how to tune an Oracle query. That's what you're going to search. It gives you a list of pages on Oracle tuning, but on the right-hand side, you will see ads from Puma, you will see ads from Adidas, you will see ads from Nike shoes. Now, how does that come in? That is an example of data analytics. The internet is being watched, the internet is being analyzed for every step that you do. Okay, or even easier example, you have Netflix, you go watch a web series there. We binge watch like crazy these days, right? That's the only thing that we do, especially with lockdown and everything that's coming in. You watch probably one series. My favorite, Designated Survivor. It's an awesome series. At least for me, I liked it very much. So I watched Designated Survivor. Okay, it's a series of 6 seasons. I finished that. The moment I finished that, I get the next one that says Madam Secretary. You might be interested in that, because guess what? That's something related to what we have watched. Now, how does Netflix know about it? Your user profile is being scanned, analyzed, a pattern is being formed. Everywhere, that's how it works. So that is data analytics. Database management, anything to do with data, anything to do with what you're doing, has to go and sit somewhere. But the important transition that we see right now is we are moving from relational, non-relational databases to something like MongoDBs. Probably, the age-old flat DBs where there is no such relational concept, but they still work wonders. I would suggest you still know one relational database, still know what SQL is. Nothing can beat your basic knowledge if you know what a data definition language is, what a data manipulation language is, or a transaction control languages are. Okay, you need to have that. Lastly, but definitely not the least, digital technologies. Again, a much hyped word, goes much, much, much closer with data analytics. Everything that you do today is digital. But a word of caution. There was a phase between 2003 to 2010 where we all were more into full stack development. What do you mean by full stack development? I should be open to be a Java developer who works on the API, application programming interfaces. I'm assuming I should have asked this earlier, but we have a predominantly computer science based crowd here. Is that right, Niti? And management. Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, cool. Then I assume you guys know about all this, what I'm talking about. So a person is expected to do the, if I'm going to work on, if you see the MVC architecture, the 3-level architecture, if I'm going to work on the model view controller, let me say I'm going to work on the model layer, the API, application programming interface layer, where I probably work a lot on Java. I try to work on the business massaging, business content, logic of it. I want to make sure that I know a little bit of the front-end screens as well, and I know a little bit of the backend database as well. I should be able to write small procedures. I should be able to, put a small text field in the front-end screen. I should be able to do that. Come around 2008, 9, 10, we started getting into this new concept of, niche technologies. I will have one specific person doing UI, UX work for me. I will have one specific person who will do the database management system for me. I'll have one specific person who will do the API layer for me. I honestly didn't appreciate that, but that's how the system goes. But just like how the new normal takes us back to the old legacy ways, currently going back to namaskars, going back to hot waters, going back to ginger and all the herbal products, no more cokes. The IT field is also seeing going back to where we were. We are now asking to give more of full stack developers. I want somebody who can give me an overall picture as well. So you need to make sure that you kind of have the overall picture as well, rather than restricting yourself to one specific layer. Okay, so that's much on the technical part. The functional part, business analyst, we will look at it. Management trainees, I would rather say business analyst and management trainees are kind of related to each other. Many of the management trainees either get into a business analyst role or get into purely accounting or PMO roles. Sorry guys, I am running a little cold, so I will take a break in between. So we will look at the business analyst role very soon in the next slides. The non-technical role, again, there is no reason to believe that's lesser important part. Definitely not. The voice support, non-voice support, and the infrastructure support is a huge industry by itself. Okay, so but I mean, we will reserve that for probably a different day. I am not much of an expert there. Okay, so these are the overall 3 areas that we have. How are we doing on the time? Okay, I need to be a little fast. Okay, let me look at my favorite area, business analyst. Now, who is this business analyst? Okay, he serves as a liaison between the business team and the IT team. Okay, in any company, any product that you work on, anything that you work on, there are always 2 teams here. One who actually uses whatever you're doing, other the person who actually builds the IT part of it. Now, these 2 people have to talk to each other. Now, who does that? That is the work of your business analyst. He's a critical bridge ensuring the business requirements are understood. You understand what the business people are talking and then gets it implemented as well. So the whole concept of requirement elicitation, how do you get your requirements? How do you manage your requirements? Okay, how do you analyze the data? All comes under the business analyst role. Okay, he even acts as a product owner in terms of agile implementations. I am not sure if agile is part of your project curriculum. I hope so. I hope we get to know that.
Yes, agile has been there.
Excellent. Yeah. Super. So in case of agile implementation, we kind of call the business analyst as a quasi or a proxy product owner as well, because the actual business guys will not come and participate in your daily meetings. So it is the product owner, business analyst who acts as that. I tried to put in a small diagram, which probably helps us much better. So we will focus on this one for another 5 minutes plus. Okay. So as you see, the hero of this slide is the guy sitting in the middle, the business analyst. Now, why is it that this guy is so important? I'll tell you in one word, one sentence rather. It's because he's probably the only guy, if you see in this diagram, who's going to talk to so many people around the project. If you look at everybody else, they probably will not be having so many stakeholders to talk to. So let's look at it this way. So now, obviously, there's a project sponsor. He is the Mahalakshmi, if we can call, who sponsors the project, who gives you all the money. Now, the business analyst needs to talk to him. He has to understand what is the overall aim of the project, overall goal of the project. Okay, he will be, in other words, he's actually the right hand for this project manager. Anything that a project manager needs, it comes from business analyst. That's why as a project manager, it's very, very important for me to have strong people who are BAs for me. Okay, because they are like, the field people, the people who are on the field, election season. So it's like, they are the actual booth committee members, if I can say, who are responsible to bring in all the votes for you. So business analyst is somebody like that, he is on the field. He's the only one who probably knows the entire world of the project. Okay, so he has to work with the business user, understand each and every user story, understand what the business user is actually looking for. Okay, now what does he do with that? He works not only just with the business user, he probably works with other stakeholders also. Apart from the person who's going to work day in and day out, there could be some other people. So for example, if I'm going to work on, let me say, a product being launched, okay, I am in insurance, so let me stick with insurance, but I'll stick with something to do with Indian insurance. Okay, you have LIC of India. LIC has a lot of products, like Jeevan Anand, Jeevan Bima. Tomorrow they're going to come up with a new product. So I need to work with the business user who has developed the product from a domain perspective, talk to him, understand from him, understand from other stakeholders, like somebody who's in the customer service area. I need to talk to that person also, understand what his needs are. Now, once I understood that, comes the most difficult part. I need to translate whatever I heard from the business users into terms that my developer will understand. So for that, I need to know the product from a business perspective. I need to understand the product from an IT perspective. Okay, I need to work with the testers. I need to make sure they understand it. They are going to test both functional and non-functional. What do you mean by non-functional here? How can something be non-functional? Functional is all that you try to implement about the project. Non-functional is to ensure whatever you're going to implement, it's not going to have other impact. For example, you introduce your product, your website comes crashing down because of the load that you have on the project. You introduce your product, the web goes slow. I'm not able to log in. I'm not able to pull up the system. So all the non-functional aspects also has to be taken care of. So this overall is why a business analyst is so critical in this project. You look at it, it's like, everything that happens on a project goes around him. Now, so what are the skills that you need? You know what? Hey, I like this whole thing. What do I need to have? You probably need to have everything. But believe me, it's not as difficult as it shows. Okay, you start with baby steps and you take it from there. Analytical skills. Like we keep going to this word data analyst and data analytics. Analytical skills is not I would say it's not a separate subject by itself. It is something that you have to develop during your college forums as well. Okay, I still go back to a lot of logical reasoning, a lot of Shakuntala Devi. I don't know how many people here knows. And there is somebody called R.S. Agarwal. I used to be a big fan of there's a book by R.S. Agarwal, I keep forgetting it, on logical reasoning. Start with all that. That helps you how do you analyze a large volume of data, because with regards to any project that you're going to do, you have to assimilate so much of information from the business user, from the stakeholders of the project, from the business sponsor of the project. You need to assimilate so much of information, process them, form an idea. It's very important that you talk to the product owners. It's very important you talk to the business owners, understand what they are asking, give them ideas, also help them fix the issues, and then work with the IT side of it. So analytical skills is very, very important there. Of course, all this is based on the communication. You need to be able to talk to business in business terminologies. You need to be able to talk to IT in IT terminology. Okay, anywhere, any challenge that you see in a project, it's gonna hit the business analyst. People expect the business analyst to give them the road ahead. You're not expected to give the entire solution. You're expected to tell, hey, you know what? Look at it from this perspective. Why don't you see it this perspective to the IT guys? when they get stuck in how do I actually give this requirement, transition this requirement into a Java-based program or a .NET-based program. At the same time, you're going to work with the business owners and say, hey, you know what? You have given me this. It's probably going to cost you this much when I try to translate it into an IT requirement. Why don't we try a different approach? So he's a go-to person for anything that comes with the project. So to do that, he has to do a lot of research. That's what comes next from him. To conduct a thorough research on the project, understand what the project is all about. How do I get it implemented? Technical skills. This is something that got added in the last decade or so. Okay, a business analyst is expected to have a minimum amount of technology skills as well. For example, I need to know how do I validate the application. I don't need to have Java coding experience, but I cannot expect a programmer to run a query for me. You have to have some basic database skills so that I can log into the backend system and look at the data as well. Data modeling. I need to know how the data modeling is. I need to know what the data model is. Okay, to manage the various stakeholders, I need to have some technical skills. Okay, so just go. So now, how do I get there? A basic requirement is a graduate degree in engineering or a management. Postgraduate degree is much better as well. You have to focus on a specific domain within BFSI. Okay, it will be banking, financial sectors, or insurance. Once you get into that, focus on that. Okay, how do I do that? Two things. First, there is an International Institute of Business Analysts, IIBA. They have a certified program that says CBAC. That gives you there's a book called BABOK. Okay, that is the book that gives you an overall guidance on how a business analyst, how do you transform yourself into a business analyst. So you can go there. I see somebody raising their hand. Just give me 1 minute. I'm done with the slide and I'll give you a break and ask for questions. So focus on certifications within the insurance sector. For example, we have a lot of certifications available in LOMA. Okay, within LOMA, they have a specific set of certifications for annuities. I, for one, am doing my FSRI certification as well that that specifically talks about how annuities businesses in the US markets. Or if you're in banking, there is a CFP certified financial planner for banking. Most importantly, whatever you're doing, complete your certification only to gain the knowledge and not for completing the certification for the sake of completing the certification. That's not why you need to do your certification. So I've been talking nonstop, I guess, for some time. I'll just give a minute break. Anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat, or please feel free to unmute if you can, or the host, if you can unmute the audience. If they have something they can ask. Just grab a cup of water. Yeah, any questions so far? I guess there are no questions. I hope you guys are there, right? The promoter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
yes,
good.
Sir.
I hope I was not talking to myself. Thanks. Okay, we will move on then. Make sure that we stay. We have another 17 minutes. We need to go there. Okay. So we looked at the business part. Okay, just a quick look at the technical part. I did give you guys an overview of the cloud-based and everything. My suggestion to all you guys would be to know either learn the Microsoft technologies or the Oracle technologies. When I say learn, actually learn. Okay, just don't go by don't go by the syllabus, whatever you're taught about, and just say, okay, I know it. You say actually learn, try to do a small project in that. So you have to know one object-oriented programming language. Okay, 2 decades back, or even a little more than that, C++ was the building blocks of any damn application. Okay, now it's all about R programming and Python programming. When I go for an interview, I get so many people who say, I did this project in Python, I did this project in Python. But when I start asking them some basic questions on Python, people start drawing a blank, because guess what? They probably use mobile apps which actually generate the code for them and give it to them. Nope, that is a strict no-no. When you are doing it, it's very important that you start doing it on your own, understand what it's about. You can use all these intelligence technologies, wraparounds later on. First, try to understand what the technologies are. Okay, so R programming or Python programming is going to be your basic block for data and analytics. Anything to do with analytics comes from R programming. And R programming, I still connect them with Python. I am basically a Perl programmer. Perl is probably, something kind of a predecessor to Python. So being a Perl programmer, I find it very difficult, very easy to get into Python. Being a Python programmer, you'll find it very, very difficult, very easy to R programming. I don't know why it's telling difficult. Sorry about that. Perl, Python, R, it's R programming. It's like, steps. So you can take anything at any point in time, but try to understand one of that. Definitely it'll help you. So learn anything and everything, learn the basics of data and digital. There is so much of information in the internet. Probably that's a curse as well. You do not know what to take, what not to take. Just go by the basics. There's so many, courses available in Udemy or Simply Learn. I guess your college also would probably have some portals where you get all these things. Learn about the agile methodologies. Waterfall model is probably gone. I would rather say it's already gone. But still, waterfall model is the basis for your agile model. Okay, it's just that it's a faster variant of your waterfall model, the agile methodology. But understand some agile, any one agile methodology. Let it be Scrum, let it be Kanban, anything. Understand it. Again, get certified by learning. It cannot be. I don't know if you guys still have. When I used to be in college, sounds a long back now, 99 to 2003, every subject used to have a small book called Made Easy. Okay, we had one subject called System Modulation and Simulation, SMS. Then that book will be like, say 600 pages, but there will be an SMS Made Easy book, which is only 30 pages. Anybody? 2 days before the exam, go get that SMS Made Easy book, read it, and then go ahead, get it passed. That would help you clear college, not clear life. Wouldn't help you when you are actually put on your own. So learn and not just pass the certifications. Okay. So now let's take the journey. I'll try to finish that in the next 14 minutes. So we keep coming back to this. Make sure you attend one communication training at least. Okay, attend at least one communication training. That is the fuel that would drive the career of a fresher's path. Okay, and that unfortunately is one thing that I see is missing. Okay, communication has been the biggest challenge that I see when it comes to hiring freshers. Okay, people, it's very natural for us to think in our mother tongue, right? I think in Tamil. When I talk to you guys about all this, I'm actually thinking in Tamil. But when I come out, when I try to talk, I talk in English. So how do you do that? There's only one way to do that, and that is to practice. Keep practicing. There is no substitute for that. I still remember my final year college where, I had a couple of friends who are doing, one of the friend was doing IAM, was trying to take CAT exams for IAM. So he was very good in communication. So he, and me as well, we used to start launching a lot of, interactive sessions. We used to give a topic to the guys and say, okay, let's talk about this topic, guys. Okay, that kind of transition you have to have when you're moving from your third year of college to the fourth year of the college, or with regards to management folks, right from your first day in your management classes. Your conversations is what is going to help you improve your communications. Okay, once you start having those conversations on a generic aspects, then it can go to technical aspects. Okay, conduct a lot of intercollegiate competitions. Okay, anything that your college hosts, it cannot be your professors, it cannot be your staff who is conducting it. It has to be you guys. It has to be you guys, the students, who conduct things. Okay, because guess what? That is going to play a huge role when you get into a company. It makes you understand how it is important to work with the team, work with different set of people. Okay, in a team of 10 people, there will be different kinds of people. You need to work with all of them. It gives you the sense of responsibility. It tells you how much it is important to handle my work myself. That is where I keep getting problems from. Okay, I give a task to a programmer, a fresher. He waits for me to give a task, and after I given a task, he still looks at me for every step of the way. I do not want such people. Want somebody, once it's given, they try, they go knock whatever doors it takes. Go talk to so many people if it needs. Get the information. They search on the Google, they get whatever they need, and they do it by themselves. Now, that will come only when you take up those responsibilities in your college days. Make sure you have those responsibilities. Participate in a lot of hackathons. I'm sure there is a lot of hackathons going around the country these days. Okay, it gives you, a launch pad, to think something new, keep innovating yourself. Innovation is the backbone that everywhere we are looking for. Anything that we see, we try to, see how you can do things differently. Helps you build your debugging and problem solving skills. It's hackathon because a topic is given, and then you are like totally looking at how do I do that. There is a chat. Which certification should we go for? Okay, I will remember to answer that at the end. Just remind me if I'm not answering that. Okay, I'll definitely take that. Okay, so I'm done with my college. What am I to expect? So if you're an engineering graduate, and let's say you're not into the great Google or the Amazons or directly into some systems. Okay, if you're not there directly, if they are not there directly, generally it's around 3.5 lakhs, I would say. Okay, per year is the current package that's going on. What is the other expectations that people have? What kind of company that is going to hire me? You are worried about the brand name of the company. Fair enough, but I would still say don't bother about what brand of the company that you're working for in the first 2-3 years that you work on. Okay, what is a bond? Many companies have a 2-year bond because they invest a lot in you. They have to specifically train you for 2-3 months. There are companies, even including Memphis, where we have a specific 3-month training process. I should have told this at the start itself, but I'll still tell you guys the views that I have expressed here is personally, it's my view. It's not from the company. Okay, so don't hold the company anywhere here. Okay, so the bond duration that the company has, what are the perks and hikes they are promising in the next 2 years? Normally, that's how a company lays out. What could be the estimate of what your salary levels would be 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line. Yes. Next thing, actually, it was kind of surprising. I did have a couple of folks asking me, is there on-site opportunity? I'm like, what? You're just joining in and you want an on-site opportunity. Fair enough, not a problem. It still happens. For one, I joined in 2003 October, and I did my first US trip in 2005 May. It's like 15-16 months after I joined, but that's because of I was at the right time at the right place. Plus, my boss had the confidence in me to fly. So don't be desperate about that. You will get it when you're location of the company, possibly a thing to consider 1 year back. But guess what? Now location doesn't matter, because wherever the location, we are going to work from our home. So it doesn't matter. Work hours. This is another surprising thing that I used to get. So what is the work hours there? To be honest, don't bother about it. The first 3 years, give to the work. Everything else comes later. Okay. So what the companies look at from the freshers, we look for a lot of people only with the right attitude and aptitude. Okay. Honestly, I can live with anything else. You do not know Java, I'm perfectly fine with it. I know a little of Java, but I don't know anything about database. I'm still fine with it, provided I see a good logical reasoning in you. I look at people with the right attitude, people with good in communication and an eagerness to learn. I'm ready to learn, sir. That's fine for me, sir. That's enough. That's all we want. Because guess what? Whatever you might have studied dozen different subjects. When it comes to project, probably something else. I did my project in VC++. I did a project in interactive voice response system, the IVRs. When you call somebody, they say press 1 to get this, press 2 to get that. I did that for my college, but I ended up, I had a big drive for Java. I learned a lot of things in Java. And the first program that I wrote was in Perl. Got no connection whatsoever. But doesn't matter. When my boss asked, do you know Perl? I said, I don't even know what the explanation of Perl is. But give me a week's time, I'll probably be able to learn it. I learned it. And from then on, I went on full-fledged into Perl. So that eagerness is what we are looking for. Understand your field of study. Get the basic skill set, the line of work. The last one is something that I'm disappointed to say we don't see it a lot. A long-term commitment to what you're doing. Okay. Don't get pulled in. Hey, you know what? My friend did. He moved from this company to this company. He got a 70% hike, 100% hike. First 3 years, don't look for that, guys. Spend for learning. Money will follow. Okay. So some quick knowledge about the interviews, questions. I see a lot of questions coming to me. Cool. I will try to stop in another 5 minutes, Niti, so that you should be okay to take it. Is that all you have, Niti, or you still have some more coming up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Till now, this many questions are there only.
Cool.
If other questions are there, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you. So some quick questions. I know quick basics on the interviews. Remember, an interview is not an examination or an interrogation. Take it as a conversation between you and the guy who's coming there. Okay, because we are coming there to recruit freshers. We are not going to, drill you with so much of technical questions. It could be technical questions, but we are not going to hold you by the sword. Okay, we just want to know how comfortable in whatever you have learned. Okay, so again, it all comes up with how effectively you are able to communicate back with the interviewer. What kind of words that you use? Are you stammering a lot? Are you not at ease? Are you able to communicate what you're thinking? What kind of body language you have? Are you, shaky at the best? There'll be some people who will be keeping on tapping their legs. There'll be some people whose hands will literally be shaking. When I put it like this, it cannot be this way. Best thing that I've seen is I give them a bottle of water or something to eat. They cannot hold the glass. They've literally spilled it. So don't have that. Feel at ease. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask, but don't ask for the sake of it. Most importantly, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Okay. I remember my first interview was with Polaris. I got selected in Polaris. I was asked 3 questions. Do you know what, how much do you know in insurance? How much do you know in banking? How much do you know the types of insurance that you have? And the 3 questions that I was asked outside of my college area. And the thing that I said for all the 3 was, sorry, sir, I don't know. But thankfully, I added a line saying, I don't know anything about insurance except for the fact that, my dad has a life insurance policy for me. And he pays premium because we get some letter that says, hey, you know what, 247 rupees is due. You need to pay. So he pays. And I know that after 25 years, he's going to get some money for that. Now, whatever I just told, the guy who was interviewing me, it's my first project manager, he said, excellent. That's exactly what we're doing. The letter that you got is called correspondence letter. The money that you pay is called premium. The money that you get back is called your final claim. So don't be afraid to say what you know. And most importantly, don't beat around the bush. Remember, the interviewer knows what he's talking about. Okay. So have a good first impression. Okay, the first few minutes, that's very important. Okay, so have a good impression. Go positively and don't not be in a hurry. Okay, I have seen people who will rattle up like 60, 70 words in a minute. Nope, not at all needed. Be slow. There's a cheat sheet for it. Be slow so that you can keep thinking on the background what else I should be talking about. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I try to speak slowly so that I kind of get my other things lined up on what I need to talk. Smile a lot. It doesn't hurt at all. Listen. Problem with the interviews that happen is people get so tensed. They come up with specific set of questions and answers. Most of them think that my first question is going to be, tell me about yourself. So once they come in and sit, there's been a candidate whom I offered, okay, do you want there was a bowl of fruits there. I said, what's your favorite food? Do you want a grape or a banana? Sir, my name is so and so. I study in this college. I am a final year computer science student. I am very interested in mobile apps. Like, hold on. Did you even listen to what I'm trying to talk to you here? No need that at all. The problem is, you come so preoccupied. First, feel relaxed. That's very, very important. Be natural. Do not carry a slang. It's not needed at all. Okay, be natural. Don't get overly conscious about the grammar that you're going to use. But at the same time, don't be very bad in grammar as well. Okay, the content has to come out very well. Okay, the first 3 minutes, your interview selection happens. I will tell you, the interview can happen over a period of 20-25 minutes. It doesn't matter. The first 3 minutes decides, okay, how the interview is going to go. Do a lot of mock interviews amongst yourself. Okay. And if you're going to talk about, if, for example, if Emphasis as a company, again, this is not company's view again. So, but a company which comes to your college for interview, go see their website, understand the public information that's already there in the domain. Okay, that helps a lot. So last slide, yep, we're almost there. I'm 1 minute due over. So it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. You need to drive what you need to do. Okay, take control of your life. Do not find excuses for your failures. Failures is the best step to go in the right direction. Still remember, the first project I did was a humongous failure. But my boss came to me and said, you found out how you should not do the things. Still fine. He got the beatings. That's still something I still find very bad about. But that ensured me 17 years down the line, I still remember, okay, this was a mistake I did. I shouldn't be doing it. I didn't do my proper analysis. Let me make sure that I do it correctly. There's a saying that goes, if you keep on doing what you have always done, you'll keep on getting what you always got. Don't expect things to be different if you keep trying it the same way. You need to think differently. Frame a plan and then execute it. Do not have a plan that says, I am going to start my own company. I'm not saying that's bad, but have it as a plan that says, I'm going to start my own company in, say, probably 10 years. But before I do that, the first 3 years, I'm going to target to understand some things. I'm going to understand what the technology that I'm going to work on, domain that I'm going to work on, get a grip of it. I will build my financial aspects, and then I'm going to start it. Probably. Okay. Have SMART goals. I hope you guys know what SMART is. The specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, realistic and time-bound goals. Okay. Some useful links for you guys. Simply learn LinkedIn, Coursera, Udemy. These are some things that I found very, very useful. Okay. Cool. How can I improve my communication skill? Take that one first. Very simple. Keep talking in English. Have a group conversation. Pick one topic. The topic can be topic can be what? Big Bull is a new movie that has come, Abhishek Bachchan's movie. Talk about that movie. It need not be that you need to talk about something else. Okay, I will stop probably sharing my screen. So talk about some things that interests first. Okay, read a lot of books, read a lot of papers. That will help you. Okay, Which certification should we go for? I'm not sure which line you're talking about. If it is on the business analyst line, I would say there is something called CBAP. Just go to iiba.com, International Institute of Business Analysts. That will tell you about CBAP. But I would say just hold on, get into a line and go for that line. If you're into banking, then go for CFPs. If you're into insurance, if it is Indian insurance, you have INS 21, INS 23. If you're in US markets, you have LOMA, so on and so forth. Okay. How an MBA aspirant can cope up with programming part that a business analyst has to face? Great question. Simple answer. It doesn't matter whether you are a management graduate or a technical graduate. Okay, because when it comes to working, everybody starts from scratch. And like I said, a business analyst is not expected to understand programming. Okay, you are not expected to understand programming. You're only expected to understand the logic behind a program. Okay, I forgot Java, I would say 17 years back I did, but I'm still able to look at the screen and say, okay, hey, you know what, guys, this is what the flow should be. Forget about how you code it. The logic is what is very important. But a simple basic database management skill will not harm. So just know how to, query from the backend database. Otherwise, you are not expected to know any of the programming languages. No Perl, no Java, nothing. Definitely not. It is a business aspect that you should know. You should be able to write test cases on how to validate an application. So that's where it means. Is it difficult to become a business analyst after doing an MBA, as we don't have knowledge of all the aspects of software engineering? Again, definitely not. I see management graduates more, easy to blend in the role of a business analyst, because you have been honed, you've been tuned to improve your communication, to think, to talk what you think, to analyze so much of data, to analyze a situation and come out with a solution for it. That's exactly what a business analyst does. So you are as much suited or even better suited. Okay. What are the risks that a business analyst will go through? I wouldn't say risks. He's responsible for the overall project in itself. You call it a risk, I call it an opportunity. Okay. So risk is a thing that has been seen from a negative way, if I would say. Opportunity is looking at it positively. You are the most important person in the project, so look at it that way. With so much of competition around, what are the skills one need to have in his arsenal to get noticed or stand alone in a crowd of million others? Answer: why are you even worried about a crowd of million or others? You are unique already. Okay. Be responsible about what you're doing. Do not take shortcuts. Do not be afraid to talk or ask questions in your team. Stand for what you decide. That's enough. You will already be a standing out. For a second-year student, what should be the first step to enter to the data analytics path? Good question. Go ahead, learn R programming or learn Python programming. Do small projects, which actually helps your university. I still keep telling this to every college that I go. A resume that says, I did my final year engineering, I did it in network programming, I knew how to do the router and all this bakwas. It's probably something that you bought. If you can say, you know what, I did a small app which is currently used in my college, and your HOD signs for it, that is weight in gold, man. For me, how can I improve my programming skills? Practice, buddy. There's nothing else. There is no shortcut to it. It keeps coming back to projects that you do. Do small projects. Open a website for yourself for all that you can. Okay, so that will help a lot. Should we go for the masters or not? Depends on two things. One, your personal situation. I had a dream to do an MBA, I'll tell you, but my family situation at that time was not that great. I wouldn't say my parents stopped me, Actually, my dad was ready to get a loan and get me into an MBA, but I understood what his drawbacks were. So I said, nothing doing, I'll go and work. But once I started working, I still went ahead and did my master's in BITS Pilani. So if I would still say, go ahead and do your master's, but if your personal situation is that you need to work, there is always an online option these days. Get into work, earn, and still continue to read. That learning has to continue. Like I said, I did my last certification a month back in FSRI. Okay, use the time proactively and use it well. Which things are most important, which confirms that we will get a good job? There's no such confirmation or guarantee here, sir. So, sir or madam, I didn't even see the name. So, what is most important, which confirms that you will get a good job, is the thought, the surety, the confidence that you have that you will get a good job. You have to have that positive attitude within yourself. You need to be confident of what you do in your life. I do not want to read this. It's very boring. It's not going to take you anywhere. The amount of work that you have done outside of your syllabus is going to increase your confidence. And automatically, you will not be worried about whether I'm going to get a good job, because you will already know that I will get it. Do companies ask for competitive coding or not? Honest answer, no. We do not expect you to start with coding right away. That's what we are here for. We will train you in what we need. If you have, like what I said, you have done so many projects in your company, in your college, you can showcase that you are miles ahead of somebody who has not done that. But your life is going to be on coding if you are taking a programming language line. But again, if you're on a business analyst line, for example, a management trainee, we are not looking at somebody who can do a competitive coding. You have good communication skills, you have good logical skills. That's enough. We are 1 minute over. I'm sorry, Pramod sir and Suresh sir. Any other questions that I can help you guys with? I don't mind taking another 5 minutes if it's okay for you guys.
Is there any questions? Participants can also raise the hands. We'll provide you with the mic, or you can also drop the questions in the chat box.
Mr. Raja, shall I ask you one question?
I'm always bad when professors ask questions. I get a little tensed, but I'll try to answer.
It's for my students. Don't worry about it. It's for my students. There is a big, big question which has been there in the air when it comes to whether they have to go for learning R or they have to go for learning Python. So, when it comes to the Python will be a little easier for the students to learn. But when it comes to having an R, they might be finding a little difficult too. So, what is your opinion on that? Which one would be the best one for them to?
Actually, it's a very good one, sir. But I beg to differ. Actually, it's not that difficult to learn R programming, I'll tell you. The reason being, I did learn R, as long as you're not going to question me about the syntax and semantics of it. But yes, I did manage to learn R a couple of years back. And it probably took me only 6 to 8 weeks, I guess. There's some good materials available and simply learn. But a good point there is, if you're talking about a student doing it, I would advise them to start with Python. Okay, so going directly into R is like, how do I say, learning to ride a bike without learning to learn a bicycle. Is it possible? Yes, definitely possible. But like what you said, it's probably going to be a little difficult. I would rather advise you to start with Python, because that is going to give you the launchpad when you want to learn R. Okay, because you guys have all the time in the world. Start with Python. Python is probably what, 2 weeks time is enough for Python. It's only 8 classes, 10 classes, if I'm not wrong, in Udemy. It costs $250 actually, to be honest. And $250 is probably what you guys pay. You pay what, $150 in Geo, I guess. 3 months plan is 500 rupees. But $250 is not that big amount for you guys. Back in 2003, it used to be $50 to even browse the internet for half an hour. Okay, so $250, learn Python. then get into R, you'll be able to collate it, you'll be able to understand it much better. You'll be able to, it's not like somebody directly put you into a middle of the ocean. You would have learned to swim and then you would have gone into it. So hope I answered it.
Yeah. As one of my friend who is working in TCS answered me something like, he told me that rather than learning some new one, let us go with the one which has been existing, that of Python, which they are practiced and understood
Yes.
with. So they might be picking the one which will be easiest for. So that would be one.
Precisely. That's precisely why, if you remember, when I was talking about RDBMS and non-relational databases, MongoDB and all, it's still important for you to know what Oracle is. Exactly. It's still important to know what your DDL languages, DML languages. But believe me, and I'm not exaggerating, I have had at least 3 out of 10 students coming out from computer science engineering telling me, when I ask them what is a data definition language statement, give me an example of DDL. They say, sir, select statement, sir, insert statement, sir. I'm like, okay, end of the interview. Thank you. Gone. So, or ask them about data structures. Most important subject when it comes to computer science engineering. Most underrated subject as well, because data structures is one subject which gives you so much of logical thinking. Sorry, I'm rambling again. Knowing about binary tree rotations, AVL tree rotations will take you a long way when it actually, when you try writing that in Perl, Python, or C++, that stimulates all your logical thinking. Goes back to what you just said. Understand something that you're already in. Don't look for all those jargons. Don't look for AWS, Azure, PCF. First, learn the basics. Know how to do a binary tree rotation using C++ or Python or Perl. That takes you a long way. Know the concepts of pointers. Know the concepts of how memory management is done. That will take you a long way. Hope I answered.
Thank you. Yeah, yes. These are the different kind of doubts it's been there in these young minds. So I thought of to make sure of this is the platform to clear it all the doubts.
So how to search and apply for the company? Sorry, there was one question. Search and apply for the company websites, LinkedIn, Naukri. Very simple. Yeah, sorry, sir. Go ahead. You were saying something.
We would be definitely.
College is there. College will take care of your size.
We were definitely looking forward to have our syllabus to make it at par. So obviously, in the days to come, we would definitely go for your help and making sure of you being part with us. And over to Nidhi.
Okay.
Yeah, over to you, Nidhi. Last words. So thank you so much for having me here, guys. Such a pleasure to talk to you all. Feels a good way to start my week here, actually. Sorry I took 7 minutes over. It's up to you. Over to you, Nidhi. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raja Ganeshan, for the valuable insights and the guidance to find the time from your busy schedule to interact with the novitiate engineers and managers. Thank you so much. We'll look forward for the similar opportunities in the days to come. Thank you so much. Moving towards the end of the session, I would like to request Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Professor Dr. Suresh Jain, to propose vote of thanks. Sir.
Thank you, Niti. It is my privilege and honor to propose vote of thanks. It was a wonderful seminar, sir. Mr. Ganeshan, sparing your valuable time, talking to my students, and giving what is important for their career. Business analyst role was discussed very superficially, but we expect in coming time, you will spare time where we can talk more on business analyst, what are the challenges. But it was a wonderful seminar, full of question answer. It was interactive sessions. And I think every one of us, not only students, but faculty have learned a lot from your expertise, your knowledge. So on behalf of management of Medicaps University, our Chancellor Sir, Pro-Chancellor Sir, our Vice Chancellor Dr. Sunil Kesomani, for their encouragement and interest they always see in conducting such webinar. And in this webinar, it is a key person, Mr. Dr. Pramod Nair, who has actually initiated this activity. and all his organizing members like Niti, Priyanka Dashal, Madam Yadav, and all have actually supported for conduction of this workshop. And last but not the least, our participants, more than 100 participants of computer science and management backgrounds, they have attended this workshop. And once again, I'm thankful to you, sir, for sparing your valuable time. And we hope that in coming time, your expertise will be available for many such occasions. That's from my side. And over to Niti.
Thank you so much, sir. Definitely.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Before ending the session, I would like to inform all the participants that the e-certificates will be issued through your registered mail IDs soon. Now it's the time to call off the session with a hope to meet soon in the similar initiatives of Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Thank you everyone for being a part of this session, and thank you so much for being in the initiative of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering for the improvements. Thank you very much once again to everyone.